Have you ever entered a room and felt the aura of confidence emanating from someone even without saying a word? That is real, authentic confidence. And that also means that confident communication is not about being loud and talking non-stop. You can communicate in a variety of ways, and I'm going to be showing you how to ensure that you are a confident communicator. Real confidence is not a personality trait you're born with necessarily. It is a set of behaviors and patterns that you develop and become comfortable with over time. Why is it important to develop the ability to communicate confidently? Confident communication helps your ideas land. It helps you to be able to get your ideas through to people. It also ensures that people listen to you and that your message lands with clarity. People who confidently communicate are also taken seriously. It is not about you having all of the answers. It is not about arrogance, but it's about clarity, self-awareness, self-trust as the words flow out of your mouth. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of the key ways in which you can be a confident communicator and what the most confident communicators have in common. If you're new here, hi, I'm Z, and this is your home for education, self-improvement, and skills building. I am a communication specialist, and I've been privileged to sit in rooms where I have just watched and listened in awe to people who speak confidently. And these are some of the things that you would notice in confident communicators. The first thing that shines through even before you speak is the way you look. Don't lose me here, please stay with me. The way you look in itself is a form of communication. Now, there are various kinds of communications. Verbal communication, there is non-verbal communication. It's the same way where you have like intrapersonal communication where you speak to yourself and interpersonal communication where you speak to other people. So verbal communication is just me speaking. Non-verbal communication is what I am telling you by what I have done with my hair, by what I have done with this ring, by what I'm wearing, what you see in the background. All of these encapsulate who I am and who I'm presenting myself to be in this moment or at this moment. Therefore, before you speak, people will judge you. You're communicating to people based on how you show up and how you look. You may have heard people talk about things like the halo effect, where people assume that you have a lot of other qualities based on how you look. It's just the same way. So the way you look is a form of communication, and it also impacts how you feel about yourself even before you open your mouth. And you may know that even before you speak, if you do not feel well about yourself, you are going to speak in a way that might not necessarily emit a confident aura. So the first thing that you need to do is to ensure that the way you look aligns with what you want to communicate with your presence, especially ensuring that you dress up appropriately for wherever you go in or whatever event or whichever engagement you're attending. Now, this second one is something that even I sometimes struggle with and need to remind myself over and over, because I've always been that person who speaks really fast. I would speak really quickly and start going on and on and on. But the most confident communicators speak slowly. They do not go snail pace, but then they speak at a very good pace where they are not rushing or stumbling on their words. You'd notice, so for example, if you speak really quickly, you're likely to stumble on your words, you're likely to just not take the time to express yourself or pronounce the words the way you would need to pronounce them. You just keep going, and then you're likely to lose people. This is something that people really miss. I had a public speaking expert on the podcast. I will link the conversation in the description of this video, and she was talking about how it's important to speak slow. So Mel Byron is the person I just referred to, and she's exceptionally good at public speaking, and she encourages people and teaches people and trains people on how to speak in public. And one of the key things is speak slowly. Therefore, if you really are out doing a presentation, whatever it is, do not feel the need to rush. Sometimes you feel like you've been extremely slow, but that is just in your head. You are speaking at a regular pace, especially if you're someone who constantly speaks really fast. you're likely to feel like you're going extremely slowly if you start being very conscious. So it's important that you not let that frighten you. Just start speaking slowly and keep going at a very good pace. To explain this third point, I'm going to give you a bit of a story. I went to an event, and at the event I met this entrepreneur. I had seen a lot of her content online. She's into fashion, and I remember that out of all of the networking events and out of all of the conferences and seminars and all the engagements that I've attended, my interaction with this woman in particular stood out. It was exceptionally warm. She looked me in the eye. She was very intentional. Speaking to her basically felt like an embrace. It felt like she already knew me. It was very authentic and intentional yet warm. She was present. Within those few minutes, it felt like someone I knew in my childhood, and then we're catching up. It was actually like 30-40 seconds. That is to say that you must try as much as you can to be authentic. You can do it. Just be intentionally curious about people. Sometimes when people are speaking to you, they can tell when you're not listening. You know, I mean, we've all done it before. You're looking at someone, you're probably nodding, but you're not really paying attention. Also, listen with the intention to understand. Do not listen with the intention to respond. I think we do that a lot of times, and that takes me naturally to my next point, which is be a good listener. Be a good listener. When someone is speaking to you, don't always interrupt them, because sometimes you have a tendency to interrupt because you're very excited about what they're saying. And one of the things that I have learned in my own communication journey, I think generally, even speaking with my friends, I'm very conscious of cutting people in between, because I do not want to do that, right? Sometimes it's very exciting when someone tells you that, maybe let's say you bought a certain kind of shoe, and then the person the person bought it also, and then they're telling you that, oh, you know what, I bought this purple shoe, and then you know that you have the purple shoes as well, and you're excited to tell them. However, it's also very good for you to just wait and let them enjoy the moment of telling you that they got those purple shoes. You know what I mean? I think sometimes, because you're very excited, we take away, unconsciously, we take away people's experiences. So sometimes just listening and smiling is good. And when they're done, you can be like, this is very interesting because I also got those purple shoes. That's if you want to tell them that you got them. So that is to say, just let people have their moment, let people enjoy, and then listen. Sometimes just sit down, pay attention, and listen. The next thing is eye contact. Look people in the eye. I'm not saying be creepy, I'm not saying be weird, but I'm saying look people in the eye. Looking people in the eye is a sign of confidence. Sometimes when you walk in, just pay attention to it. People sometimes are so afraid to look people in the eye. Maybe you're walking around and you get to the bus station or the train station, immediately someone's eyes meet yours, they tend to really look away very quickly. Looking people in the eye is very important, because it gives you a sense of connection when you're speaking to someone. So if you're speaking, don't always look away, or even not just, even if it's not staring at them, even if you're listening, looking at them, smiling, you can let them know that, like, you communicate via your eyes and then the rest of your face, and then they know that you hear them. Or if you're speaking, look them in the eye, look at everyone in the eye, include everyone in the conversation. Takes me naturally to my next point. Include everyone in the conversation. Basically, it is important as a confident communicator to bring other people into the conversation, especially for someone you know that is a bit quiet, they don't want to say anything because they're probably shy. You would really be helping if you included them and asked them, oh, do you have any thoughts on this? Not in a way that puts them on the spot, but in a way that includes them. I tend to be able to notice certain things, so I'm very able to quickly pick up that this person probably has something they want to add to this conversation. And if you have that ability, it really also helps as well to make sure that you're able to ask people, are you okay with this decision? What do you think about this? And then you involve people However, if you're unable to really tell, it's still okay to ask people very warmly and nicely, do you have any thoughts around this? It would be interesting to hear what you think about this. So including people as a sign of confidence when you are communicating. And finally, I want to talk about your body language. Body language is huge. I think there can be a whole masterclass about body language and how you show up. Your posture is the best thing that you need to really try as much as you can to regulate, and then that really helps you, because when you slouch, it's almost as if like you're trying to hide yourself, as if you're making yourself small. So when you sit upright and then your posture is good, you are able to really show and open yourself up and show people that you're okay speaking, like you're very confident speaking to them. Also, in terms of body language, I don't know if you know about the power pose. You're standing and you hold your waist like that. Those are forms of power poses. You might have observed that even politicians sometimes use all of these things to exert some kind of dominance over people. Sometimes, especially men, when they shake their hands, you know, sometimes they try to give you a pat on the back, like it's just something that just shows that they, in some cases, people use it to belittle people somewhat in some cases. So they are all power moves. However, in terms of your own personal communication, is the way you hold your body, is the way you carry yourself around, is the way you stand. Sometimes this might be okay, but if you do it too much, it might look like you are shy, or you're trying to make people not see you. So sometimes, like, even I have to be conscious to remind myself that I need to put my hands on my side and not like that. This is very comfortable, you know, it's very much like, oh, this is my safe space. But if you're with people, sometimes you need to open up and speak to them. I could go on and on and on about confidently communicating, and I really enjoy talking about this, and I really hope that you have enjoyed watching and listening. And if there's any question that you have, let me know in the description of this video. I have a confidence communicator guide, a free confident communicator template that you guys have been loving so much. It's one of my it's actually the template with the most downloads. I'm going to put it in the description. I'm going to link it in the description of the video. So let me know if you have any questions as well. And I might also put a link to my forthcoming confidence communicator training. If you're interested, you can join the waiting list, or you can sign up. I'll put all of them in the description of the video. So what is the one thing you're looking to change when it comes to communication? Let me know in the description. I wish you the best. Lots of love.